is the record holder, though his speech was not a filibuster. For all the criticism of President Trump, he did not seek to block a specific bill, but it is a record for the upper chamber.
Again, that's WTOP's Capitol Hill correspondent Mitchell Miller. It is 8:33. Deep job cuts are taking place today at the agency, which is supposed to help keep Americans healthy. WTOP's Dan Ronan reports from outside the Department of Health and Human Services headquarters.
HHS employees are entering the Humphrey building to learn if they have jobs or if they're being terminated. None of the employees wanted to talk publicly, but one man did say some managers last night learned some of the names of employees being let go, and those decisions are being carried out now. The mood is somber, with the employees going through metal detectors, entering the building. They depart quickly and quietly, saying no comment as they walk by me. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he wants to cut 10,000 employees with layoffs and another 10,000 with buyouts and resignations. At HHS headquarters in Southwest D.C., Dan Ronan, WTOP News.
Breaking news on WTOP.
CBS News special report. CBS News projects that in Florida, Republican Randy Fine will win former Congressman Mike Waltz's seat over Democrat Josh Wheel. Fine earlier discussing constituents' concerns about Social Security.
We are not going to cut the benefits in any way, shape, or form from Americans who earned it and they're entitled to it. Not only that, we want to go one step further. We want to eliminate taxes on it. I know Democrats want to tax that money and give it to illegal immigrants. I believe the folks who earn Social Security should keep every penny of it.
President Trump has congratulated online Republican Jimmy Patronis on winning Matt Gaetz's former congressional seat. CBS News has not made a projection in that race. Wisconsin voters are still deciding the ideological makeup of the state Supreme Court, a race that has grabbed the attention and money of George Soros and Elon Musk. This voter responding,
more than a little frustrating for a lot of people to have so much outside influence on, state elections, but I think it's important to stay engaged.
CBS News Special Report, I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
It is 8:35, and coming up after traffic and weather in Money News, the Trump administration targets another Ivy League university. Plus, we will check in on the growing measles outbreak in Texas.
There's a lot of uncertainty right now, and this is especially true if you're a federal government employee or federal contractor. Hi, I'm Jack Diamond for Roof Masters. You may be hesitant to spend any money right now, and that's understandable. But listen, if you think you may have a problem with your roof, don't postpone making needed repairs. The consequences could be disastrous. Please call Roof Masters at 301-230-ROOF. Roof Masters is aware that many homeowners in our area are connected one way or another to government work. So Roof Masters will provide financing up to 36 months with no interest and no fees if you need it. Call Roof Masters, 301-230-ROOF. Once they've inspected your roof, they'll provide a detailed estimate with several options. Then you decide what works best for you and your budget. Roof Masters, 301-230-ROOF. That's 301-230-ROOF. Or online, roofmasters.com. With Roof Masters, the proof is in the roof.
How can agencies drive incremental financial management improvements? Think microapps and low-code, no-code solutions, explains R.J. Blake, the president and CEO of Blake Wilson Group.
We've been able to show amazing impact and value in developing our own tools and some of the low-code, no-code technology that exists, Microsoft Office, Power Apps, and some of these things that are often already at the fingertips of the government.
Learn additional ways to continually improve financial management. Go to federalnewsnetwork.com and search BWG.
Founded with a clear mission, Blake Wilson Group was created to serve the nation in becoming better stewards of taxpayer dollars. With roots in leadership, technology, and financial management, Blake Wilson Group's focus is helping agencies recognize efficiencies in meeting their programmatic goals to better achieve their mission. Blake Wilson Group is driving financial stewardship, empowering agencies to do more with less through innovative solutions. Blake Wilson Group is leading the way, paving the path for a stronger, more effective government. Visit BlakeWilsonGroup.com.
Traffic and weather on the 8th, and the roads are quieting down. Here's Bob.
Yeah, not a lot happening now. Things are running well all around the Beltway in both Maryland and in Virginia. In the district, a couple of slow spots here and there on the Southeast Southwest Freeway and 295. And I think they may have found the crash on northbound 395 near Main Avenue. It's gotten a bit slower now headed toward Main Avenue coming from the Case Bridge now. So be alert, may have a crash there. And northbound 295 is all but cleared out. Now, looks like they've set up the work zone on 50 westbound at the Anacostia River at the D.C. line. And you should be getting by single file westbound on Route 50 at the D.C. line. And eastbound 50 slows getting to the Bay Bridge. And that is because the work pattern is set up, getting by one lane in each direction on the westbound span. Eastbound span is closed. 95, Baltimore-Washington Parkway, and 270, each running well. And in Virginia, 66 is without delay both ways, as are both 395 and 95. And we're brought to you by Northwest Financial Advisors. Federal workers facing or considering retirement, they can help. At Northwest Financial Advisors, their world revolves around you. Visit nwfllc.com. Bob Inwood, WTOP Traffic.
And now to the PJ Fitzpatrick Home Improvement Weather Desk. With their lifetime warranty on materials and labor, trust PJ.com. 7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson.
Cool and crisp for your evening and pretty chilly again by morning. Temperatures this evening falling into the 40s and mid to upper 30s by early Wednesday morning. Expect partly sunny skies for Wednesday with a range of temperatures 58 to 65 degrees. Only a little warmer for tomorrow, but we're up to 80 degrees on Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm during the late evening. Better chance of showers and storms on Friday, around 70 the high. 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
And looking at your current temps, 50 degrees in Hyattsville, 49 degrees in Herndon, and 54 degrees in Foggy Bottom. Money news at 10 and 40 past the hour. Here's Tom Busby.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. First Columbia, then Harvard, now Princeton says federal government agencies like the Department of Energy, NASA, and the Defense Department have frozen several dozen scientific research grants, while Princeton's president tells Bloomberg the full rationale for the suspension has not been made clear. Despite disappointing data today about fewer job openings in February and a slump in U.S. manufacturing in March, as well as anxiety over tomorrow's tariff announcements from President Trump, stocks end the day mostly higher. The Dow down just 12, but the Nasdaq added 151, the S&P up 21. Shares of the conservative media outlet Newsmax soaring over 2,000% higher since its debut on Monday. Its two founders worth $8.5 and nearly $5 billion each. And because of sky-high home prices and elevated mortgage rates, a record 17% of all home purchases last year were from multi-generational properties. That's according to the National Association of Realtors. That means more extended families are now living together. From the Bloomberg Newsroom, I'm Tom Busby on WTOP.
It's 8:41. It started with a tip alerting local humane officers about a dog being abused. Then days later, a social media post appeared, apparently showing that same incident. Now, DC's Humane Rescue Alliance is offering a reward leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the person responsible. WTOP's Kate Ryan has details.
The video is hard to watch. A figure kicks, drags, and tosses a dog to the ground in a social media post that first appeared in the Instagram account of Washingtonian Problems. The person who filmed it also reported that the figure with the dog apparently tried to suffocate it. Ann Russell manages the Humane Law Enforcement Division of HRA, the Humane Rescue Alliance, which is offering a $2,500 reward in the case.
Especially if the dog is injured, they could face a felony charge for animal cruelty.
And if the person responsible is found guilty, Russell says they could be
punished by imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or a fine not exceeding $25,000 or both.
If you spot a suspected case of abuse, Russell suggests that you don't post it to social media, but contact HRA immediately. Kate Ryan, WTOP News.
It's 8:42. The measles outbreak in West Texas continues ramping up. Latest numbers from the Texas Department of State Health Services show nearly 100 new confirmed cases over the past week.
Texas now with 422 confirmed cases of measles. That's up from 327 last week. 417 unvaccinated or unknown status. 310 under the age of 17. One fatality. Dr. Lara Johnson's the chief medical officer at Covenant Health in Lubbock, the front lines of the Texas outbreak.
We have generally between 2 and 4 patients in the hospital each day with measles.
Her hospitals have begun administering early measles vaccines to infants as young as 6 months old. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
And still ahead, new tariffs could impact everything from gadgets to massive tech innovations. We'll talk about it with ABC's Mike Dubusky. It is 8:43.
Here is Paul Kurtz, the Chief Cybersecurity Advisor and Field CTO at Splunk on Federal News Network's DoD Modernization Exchange.
We take a lot of things for granted when we think about what is the operational environment for the military and how do those devices hold up? How do we know that they're secure? How do we know that they're not leaking data? Those are really, really important points, and mobility is only going to grow.
Watch the full discussion now. Go to federalnewsnetwork.com and search Splunk.
In today's digital world, security threats and infrastructure issues can strike at any moment, putting your agency at risk. Splunk's advanced technology can prevent minor issues from becoming major threats, providing your agency with the tools you need to make confident decisions and make decisive actions at mission speeds. Splunk Cloud Platform is FedRAMP certified and IL5 authorized. Learn how Splunk can help your agency build a stronger, more secure digital future. Visit splunk.com/public sector.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for the heat to hit. Weak airflow? Warm air? Strange noises? These are warning signs your AC needs attention. Our skilled technicians offer AC repair services or replacements to keep your family cool all summer long. Don't sweat it. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning has your back. Here to keep your home cool all summer. Visit onehour.com to schedule today. Financing options available.
These days, the world isn't all fun and games, but there is a place on our website for that.
Go to WTOP.com, search top games, and enjoy free crossword puzzles, card games, Sudoku, and more.
WTOP News.
8:45. I'm Lynn Bowie, and thanks for being with us. A range of different sectors making up the U.S. economy are now bracing for new tariffs to be announced tomorrow, and that includes the tech industry. Everything from smartphones to electric vehicles to the computer chips that power the AI boom could be impacted one way or the other. ABC News tech reporter Mike Dubusky joined WTOP earlier to explain.
So the discussions that are being had about tariffs with regards to the tech industry broadly mirror the discussions for the larger American manufacturing industry. These concerns that these tech companies are going to have to pay more to import the goods that they need in order to do business in the U.S., and that cost is going to be passed along to the consumer. Now, in tech, that could mean a lot of different things. The iPhone, for example, is made in China, as are all the mainstream smartphones that we buy here in the U.S. Those could see major price increases in the coming weeks and months as new supply chains are sort of ironed out. Generally speaking, small movements in import tariffs are not significant enough for a company as big as Apple. They can absorb that and not really pass on the costs to the consumer. However, given the scale of the tariffs that the Trump administration is talking about, that could be a very different story. People talking about, $50 price hikes on iPhones coming, out over the next few years or so, over the next few months or so, I should say. In addition to that, we also look at the automotive sector, which has been in particular focus with regards to these tariffs. 25% import tariffs on all foreign-made cars and car parts is what the Trump administration announced last week. A company like Hyundai it builds some cars here in the U.S., but it builds its electric vehicles, which are very popular here in South Korea. Those could see major price increases. Both of these companies that I just threw out there as examples, Apple and Hyundai, have announced major investments in domestic manufacturing. Apple announced a $500 billion investment in AI server farms. Hyundai announced an aluminum plant that they plan to spin up in Louisiana. Will those be enough to sort of gain them some leniency from the Trump administration? I think that's a question that a lot of economists have their eye on.
And we got a couple of seconds left here, but even if more companies do bring manufacturing back to the U.S., it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, factories take a long time to build, right? And by the time that Hyundai builds an aluminum factory, for example, it could be an entirely new administration in charge, and the tariff situation could look a lot different. The idea that the Trump administration has here is to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., but the whole reason that manufacturing left the U.S. in the first place is because it's expensive to make things here. It's expensive to build out factories, and workers demand more, and that is an extra cost for these these companies. So they've struck deals with other countries, other providers, and what have you. And that's the state of the economy right now. Look, technology, automotive, it's a global industry. And that means that these are going to have knock-on effects, even for products that aren't impacted by these tariffs. Think about reciprocal tariffs for countries that might impose these tariffs, for goods coming back into the U.S. or goods that we export. Basically, what that means is that things are going to get a lot more expensive, at least in the short term.
That's ABC News tech reporter Mike Dubusky. It is 8:48. Traffic and weather on the 8th. Are the roads still quiet, Bob?
Well, we do have a slowdown northbound 395 getting around to Main Avenue where they had a crash. I believe it's on the shoulder, but still there to be seen. So getting a little bit of attention. But around the Beltway, everything is pretty quiet both ways. In Virginia, on Route 50 at 7 Corners, working on a crash affecting traffic both ways. And 395 and 95 are each without delay, as is 66. All is quiet in Maryland on 270 between the Beltway and Frederick. Nothing in your way. 95 of the Baltimore-Washington Parkway are doing all right. And 50 out to the Bay Bridge has a bit of a slowdown as you're in tonight's work pattern. 1 lane getting by each direction on the westbound span. They've closed the eastbound span for tonight's work. Westbound 50 getting into the district at the Anacostia Bridge, headed towards South Dakota Avenue down to a single lane with road work tonight. We're brought to you by Window Nation. Need new windows? At Window Nation, buy 4 windows, get 4 free, pay nothing until 2027, now through April 30th. Don't wait. Visit windownation.com today. Bob Inler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson joins us live. It has been a beautiful evening.
It has a little chilly out there, but boy, it's still been pleasant. I mean, for spring here in early April, we're going to drop another 5 to 10 degrees by morning. So that'll put us out of the upper 40s and lower 50s and down to about 38 to 45 degrees by morning. Winds are going to be light to start the day, but it will be breezy for your Wednesday afternoon with winds out of the southeast this time gusting to about 25 miles per hour and temperatures similar to today, about 58 to 65 degrees. Will be partly sunny again and breezy. Breezy also on Thursday, but this time with mostly cloudy skies and this time much warmer again. So we're going right back up with those temps to around 80 for Thursday afternoon. It's also going to be a day where you're going to notice more humidity in the air. Out ahead of the next weather maker, it's a warm front and we've got the possibility of seeing some isolated showers or thunderstorms, mainly during the evening and early night. And then on Friday, a slightly higher chance, about a 50-50 chance we could get a little wet weather, and around 70 degrees with the cloud cover and the next system coming in. Right now, you're looking at 54 degrees in D.C. for Brambleton and Springfield in Virginia, 49 right now, 49 also in Mitchellville, and 51 in Durwood, Maryland.
Thanks, Veronica. Brought to you by Mervis Diamond.
The best diamonds in the world are waiting for you at Mervis Diamond Importers. For the largest diamond collection and the best value, visit Mervis. Nobody pays retail anymore. Why should you? MervisDiamond.com.
And coming up on WTOP.
Are those younger colleagues streaming movies and shows while they should be working? I'm Luke Lukert.
More news in 60 seconds.
Get ready. Walk MS Washington, D.C. is just around the corner and promises to be an unforgettable day filled with love, support, and unity for those living with multiple sclerosis. Join us on May 4, 2025 at Nationals Park as we change the world for people with MS. Visit walkms.org today because a cure is on the line and no one has to face MS alone. That's walkms.org today to learn more and register to make an impact.
Looking for security? Whether your watchdog is a toy poodle or Great Dane, you know they'll probably be better at cuddling than keeping your home safe. For real security, count on durable materials and expert installation by Long Fence. And right now, all fences, decks, and pavers are 25% off. Terms and conditions apply. Go to longfence.com for a free estimate today.
There's a long time name for quality. Long Fence.
You're listening to WTOP.
WTOP News.
Facts matter.
It's 8:52. Actor Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey took a break from filming their new show this week to make a special trip to the Texas Capitol.
Texans Harrelson and McConaughey are promoting Senate Bill 22, providing millions to movie and TV producers who come to Texas. Matthew McConaughey says,
"We have infrastructure.
We have wood screws, not Velcro.
But there may be a morality clause attached.
We've got to have a standard for the state of Texas and what we're going to support and what we're not going to support.
Republican Senator Paul Bettencourt suggests that incentives might be withheld from productions with adult themes and language. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Do you have a Gen Z coworker or employee who works from home and seems a bit distracted? What they really might be doing is catching up on Seinfeld or Stranger Things. Here's WTOP's Luke Lukert.
A new survey done by the streaming service Tubi and Harris Poll found that a staggering 84% of employed Gen Zers watch TV or movies while they're working. And if they told you they haven't been, they may have been fibbing. Just shy of half said they've lied to bosses and coworkers about it.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Also, just over half of Gen Zers surveyed say they have even put off working because they wanted to finish a show or movie. And if you think a return to the office will change anything, 38% say they even stream at the office.
No! God, please, no! No!
Luke Lukert, WTOP News.
It's 8:53. A quick look at what's trending this hour.
Should someone working 3 jobs have to pay the same speeding ticket as a jerk with a Lamborghini? San Francisco doesn't think so, which is why the city is going to start issuing tickets based on income. They'll range from $50 to $500, but anyone earning up to 3 times above the poverty line will be eligible for half off. And no, there isn't a surcharge for the stinking rich. A robotic submarine camera searching Loch Ness for the infamous monster has made a shocking discovery. A much older remote camera. They think it's one of a handful of cameras put there by the University of Chicago more than half a century ago. One of them had film in it, but Nessie wasn't on it. Squatting in jeans can be a thing again now that jeggings are back. The 2010 style is returned for Gen Z with chains like Uniqlo and bringing back stretchy denim. This time they're a bit less form-fitting, slightly baggier for fellas, and come fleece-lined according to GQ. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, skinny jeans are back too. That's what's trending. I'm Christian Chase.
Sports at 25 and 55. Powered by Maximus. Moving people and technology forward.
I love a good pair of jeggings, Frank. They're so comfy.
Just not too tight on me, right? Exactly. Alex Ovechkin, 4 goals away from all-time goal-scoring record. Caps and Boston now tied up at 2-2 after 2 periods of play. Ovi's goal gave the Caps a 2-0 lead, but the Bruins fought back to equalize things 2-2 as we head to the third period. Career goal number 891 for Alex Ovechkin. Nationals trying to make it interesting at Toronto, now trailing 3-2. They were down 3-zip, scored 2 runs in the 6th, courtesy of Keibert Ruiz with an RBI single. It drove in a couple, so RBIs with the single. Trevor Williams went 5 innings, striking out 3 allowed, 3 earned runs. Bottom 6, Toronto leading the Nationals 3-2 from Canada. Maryland hires its new men's head hoops coach, Buzz Williams, comes over from Texas A&M. He reportedly gets a 6-year deal. He's won at least 100 games at Marquette, Virginia Tech, and Texas A&M. Officially will be introduced at a noon press conference tomorrow. And get this, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the idea of NFL players competing in flag football in the 2028 LA Olympic Games has been a popular topic among the league's players and suggested it was likely to happen. My only question is, will the owners of the teams allow their players to compete? Because there's always that concern about injury. Frank Hanrahan, WTOP Sports.
Thanks, Frank. And coming up on WTOP, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker ends his record-setting speech protesting President Trump's policies. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in
and taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-893-4133. That's 800-893-4133. 800-893-4133.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is WTOP News. WTOP FM Washington. WWWTFM Manassas. WTLP FM Braddock Heights, Frederick.
Traffic and weather on the 8s. Back to Bob in the traffic center.
Well, we do have a bit of a slowdown on inbound or westbound Route 50 getting across the Anacostia Bridge towards South Dakota, where there is a work zone again tonight, getting by single file headed through that work zone on Route 50. Now, northbound 395 at Main Avenue crashes on the shoulder, and in Seven Corners still working on the crash on Route 50, which is affecting traffic both ways at Route 7. 395 and 95 doing fine, and 50 in Maryland headed east out to the Bay Bridge. Still a bit of a slowdown getting onto the bridge as you're down to a single lane getting past on the westbound span. It's one lane in each direction. Eastbound span out of service tonight, as they tend to do this time of night. Now, on 95 and on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, things are running pretty well between the beltways. Not a whole lot happening on either. And pretty much the same can be said for 270. Between the Beltway and Frederick, your travel lanes are open, and there are no delays to report there. WTOP Traffic Center is presented by Window Nation. Today, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Visit windownation.com. Bob Inler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson.
Scattered clouds this evening, and boy, our temperatures are going to be cooling quickly here from the 50s to the 40s and pretty chilly by morning, starting out between 38 and 45 degrees with mainly clear skies, partly sunny and breezy for Wednesday afternoon with temperatures ranging between 58 and 65 degrees. From 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Outside right now, it is 54 degrees on the National Mall. Bethesda, 48 degrees. Reston, also 48 degrees.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
WTOP News. Facts matter.
Good evening. I'm Lynn Bowie, and coming up, the White House is making final plans for another round of tariffs slated to go into effect tomorrow.
More federal employees learn their fate, this time at the Department of Health and Human Services. I'm Dan Ronan.
The University of Maryland hires Buzz Williams as the new men's basketball head coach. He comes from Texas A&M.
What do you do when an animal is being abused? Tips from an expert. I'm Kate Ryan.
Cutting a program that offers academic and social help to local college students with disabilities. I'm Scott Gelman.
And the results of a special election in Florida. It's 9 o'clock. Here's CBS News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. CBS News projects that when all the votes are counted, Republican Jimmy Patronis will win the Florida congressional seat once held by Matt Gaetz, and that Republican Randy Fine will win Mike Waltz's former seat. More on that race from CBS's Lindsay Reiser.
He beat his Democratic opponent Josh Weil, despite Weil outraising and outspending him. Fine's win ends the Democratic Party's hope to gain a much-needed boost in the Republican-controlled House.
Reporter Bruce Marcus on a closely watched state Supreme Court race between GOP-backed Brad Schimmel and Democrat-supported Susan Crawford in Wisconsin. The polls have closed.
Judge Crawford has tried to tie her opponent to what she considers President Trump's extreme agenda.
My opponent has openly said that he wants to make the court into part of the support network for Donald Trump.
Judge Schimmel claims his opponent is biased and has a liberal agenda.
You shouldn't be running as a candidate for Supreme Court on a side of an issue.
Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Eagle River, Wisconsin.
Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey breaks a record with a marathon 25-hour speech on the Senate floor to protest Trump administration policies.
My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
The New Jersey Democrat spent some of that time reading letters from constituents, and he condemned the administration more broadly, from trade wars to mass firings to deportations and threats to Medicaid.
Our founder said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong.
There is global anticipation and economic anxiety over the tariffs President Trump will announce tomorrow in the Rose Garden. CBS's Erica Brown at the White House on how some foreign countries are reacting.
Israel has reportedly moved to cancel tariffs on U.S. goods ahead of the president's announcement. The EU said that they have a strong plan to retaliate if necessary. And Japan and South Korea have reportedly agreed to jointly respond to U.S. tariffs with China.
The death toll after last week's 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar has surpassed 2,700 and is likely to rise. The BBC's Nick Marsh.
At the moment, the response is not enough to service the needs of the hundreds of thousands of people who have been caught up in this earthquake. Our colleagues in the Burmese service are even saying that they can smell decomposing bodies buried under the rubble.
Alex Ovechkin moves 4 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's NHL record after scoring the 891st of his career in the Washington Capitals game against the Bruins in Boston. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
9:03, Tuesday, April 1st. 52 degrees outside. We're falling to the upper 30s overnight. Good evening, I'm Lynn Bowie, and our top local story is the latest on the Trump impact here on WTOP. The Department of Health and Human Services is the latest federal agency to face mass layoffs. WTOP's Dan Ronan reports from its D.C. headquarters.
The mood is somber at HHS headquarters in Southwest D.C. Employees quickly walking into the office complex to learn if they have jobs. None of the employees wanted to talk to reporters, but one man told me as he entered the building, some of the managers last night did get the word how deep they'll have to cut staff, and those decisions, he said, are being carried out now. Another man who I spoke with briefly said, "We haven't been told anything. We are completely in the dark." HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said he wants to cut the department by 30%, eliminating 20,000 positions through terminations, retirements, and resignations. At HHS headquarters in Southwest D.C., Dan Ronan, WTOP News.
It's 9:04. It started as a viral social media post, but now the search is on for the person in our area caught on camera dragging and kicking a dog. WTOP's Kate Ryan says a reward is also being offered.
In the video first posted on the Instagram account of Washingtonian Problems, a person drags and kicks a leashed dog, at one point yanking the dog down to the ground. Now the Humane Rescue Alliance is working to find the person responsible, and there's a $2,500 reward involved. Ann Russell, manager of Humane Law Enforcement at HRA, says the best thing to do is call them directly.
Had that individual, who was very brave, mind you, reported that information to us in real time, it really would save the amount of time that it's taking us to rescue this dog ultimately.
Russell says if the dog was injured, the person could face a felony charge of animal cruelty. Russell, a veteran humane officer, had just rescued a pup after a dog attack when she spoke to WTOP. She says the little victories keep her going.
Just seeing how young people are engaging animal welfare and intervening when they can.
Kate Ryan, WTOP News.
There's a fight brewing in Fairfax County over a program that offers almost 70 local college students with disabilities help with classes and social skills. WTOP's Scott Gelman is hearing from one family who says the county wants to cut funding for the program from next year's budget.
When it first came out, and we were kind of blindsided by it.
Michael Newman's stepson has autism, and he's been getting extra support as a student at Northern Virginia Community College through a program called College Steps.
And this program gives them the ability to have a buddy, go to one class that's difficult for them to help them through the material.
He says parents pay tuition and the students attend regular college classes, but then they get extra academic help.
They do some social stuff too, because these kids that have autism really need more social interaction.
That contributed to his stepson passing all of his classes last year. But he says the county wants to cut funding for the program in next year's budget.
I mean, they would probably not be able to pass many of their classes, and they would have a difficulty assimilating into our society in the long run.
Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
And we did reach out to Chairman Jeff McKay's office for comment. It's 9:07, and by now you have probably heard the buzz. The University of Maryland has a new men's head basketball coach. Texas A&M's Buzz Williams will replace Kevin Willard, who left Maryland over the weekend for a job at Villanova. WTOP sports director George Wallace joined us earlier with his thoughts on Williams.
I mean, he can coach. It's a good hire. I like it. It's a safe hire for Maryland, especially at this point with no athletic director, to get a guy like Buzz with the record that he has and the consistency, the 20-win seasons, NCAA tournaments. And, to get him to come to College Park, I think is the kind of hire that the school needs, especially with all the uncertainty going on right now. I know fans want to see the school take a chance one of these times on maybe a hot assistant coach or a Tony Skinn or a Dwayne Simpkins. And maybe that's down the road. But right now, I do like the hire for Buzz Williams. He can coach and his teams play defense, which is great.
And Maryland will introduce Williams as the head coach at a news conference scheduled for tomorrow. Coming up on WTOP and Money News, inflation fears with President Trump's new tariffs. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.
WTOP and Silver Diner now bring you Free Lunch Friday to thank you for listening to WTOP, whether you're at home, at work, or on the go. 3 winners every Friday. Enter to win free lunch courtesy of Silver Diner and plan your next luncheon with up to 5 additional guests. There's something for everyone at Silver Diner with over 100 menu items, including vegan and gluten-free options and your diner favorites. So don't miss out. Enter to win today at WTOP.com. Search free lunch.
Get a precision AC tune-up for only $59.
Michael and Son. It's 9:08. Traffic and weather on the 8s. Back to Bob in the traffic center.
Still working on the crash on Route 50 Arlington Boulevard near Seven Corners, although I think they may have gotten that one out of the roadway. May have a fresh one, though, on westbound 50 near Annandale Road, so be alert for that. Things are pretty good around the Beltway in Maryland and in Virginia right now, but they are working on Route 50 westbound at the Anacostia River, headed towards South Dakota Avenue down to a single lane, and slow there, of course, once again tonight. 50 to the Bay Bridge, all but cleared out. Brief slowdown at the bridge now. 95 and the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, each without delay between the Beltways. We're good to go up and down 270. And in Virginia, on 395 and 95, all is quiet. Same with 66, both inside and outside the Beltway. WTOP Newsroom furnished by Regency Furniture. Shop Regency for the best dining, living, and bedroom sets, plus brand-name mattresses. Affordable never looks so good. Bob Inler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson.
It's a beautiful evening with just a few scattered clouds. Temperatures dropping into the lower 50s, eventually 40s, and anywhere between 38 and 45 degrees by early Wednesday morning. Winds will be light out of the north at only about 3 to 8 miles per hour. And then it's a breezy afternoon for Wednesday. Should be up to around 60 degrees with partly sunny skies. Back up to 80 degrees on Thursday. Mostly cloudy now with an isolated shower thunderstorm during the evening. 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Outside right now, it is 52 degrees in Oxon Hill, 46 degrees in Sterling. The Wharf in D.C., you're at 54 degrees. Brought to you by Long Fence. Save 25% on decks, pavers, and fences. 6 months, no payment, no interest. Conditions apply. Go to longfence.com. Money News at 10 and 40 past the hour. Here's Tom Busby.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. President Trump's sweeping new tariff, scheduled to be announced on Wednesday after Wall Street's closing bell, will take effect immediately after being unveiled, according to the White House. And worries about those tariffs pushing inflation higher sent U.S. manufacturing lower in March, but sent sales of new autos sharply higher that same month and for the first quarter, as car buyers look to get ahead of those 25% levies on imported cars and car parts, which will take effect this week. On Wall Street today, stocks moving up and down before finally ending the day mostly higher. The Dow just down 12 points at the close, but the Nasdaq was up 151 thanks to gains in the tech sector. The S&P added 21. And because of cost cutting and with the start of the Atlantic hurricane season just 2 months away, the National Weather Service says it'll no longer contract with a company to translate weather forecast and storm warnings into Spanish and 4 other languages. From the Bloomberg Newsroom, I'm Tom Busby on WTOP.
And still ahead, what do we know about the White House's so-called Liberation Day? We'll get more details from CBS's Scott McFarland at 9/11.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Easy Cater is the smarter, simpler way to order food for your workplace. With easy online ordering, search filters for budget, dietary needs, and more. Save your favorite restaurants and favorite orders for easy reordering. Save time with group ordering. You send a link, your team orders what they want. Plus, Easy Cater makes expense reporting a snap with all your receipts in one place. Easy Cater. More than just a way to order catering for work, it's your business tool for food. Order now at easycater.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Coming up, the Maryland Senate takes a step toward approving a new state budget. More from WTOP in 30 seconds.
Get ready. Walk MS Washington, D.C. is just around the corner and promises to be an unforgettable day filled with love, support, and unity for those living with multiple sclerosis. Join us on May 4, 2025 at Nationals Park as we change the world for people with MS. Visit walkms.org today because a cure is on the line and no one has to face MS alone. That's walkms.org today to learn more and register to make an impact.
Whether you're working at home or at the office, you can turn your workstation into an information station.
Go to WTOP.com to listen live to WTOP for the latest breaking local news and traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
You'll know what's happening all across the DMV without ever leaving your desk.
WTOP News.
That's Matter.
It's 9:14. I'm Lynn Bowie, and thanks for being with us. Another news-packed week here in Washington between threatened tariffs, a new round of massive DOGE cuts, and deportations. It's difficult to keep up. We're trying, beginning with what President Trump calls Liberation Day tomorrow. CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarland joined WTOP earlier to talk about what the president has in mind when it comes to tariffs against major trading partners.
We know there's going to be a White House address. It's now formally on the calendar for tomorrow afternoon, where the president will announce his new tariff policies, his new tariff endeavor. The indications from the White House is it will be on a broad set of countries across the world, and that there will be some reciprocal nature to the tariffs. A response to what they impose on the U.S. will be given in kind. But to say there's a bit of heartburn is an understatement. The markets have been rattled by this back and forth. And one of the most striking reactions I've seen so far today is from the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce, which handles all kinds of automotive manufacturers, auto parts manufacturers. They have put a sobering warning out about the pillaging this will do to the auto sector if these tariffs go in place. And that's a big dent in the economy.
Layoff notices have started going out today for many working for the Department of Health and Human Services. And we're not just talking about a handful of layoffs.
And that'll be the CDC in Atlanta as well. I mean, locally, there's untold impact on the economy in our area. We know how many people in our communities have relatives, or friends, or neighbors who work for HHS, and all the contractors that do business with the FDA and HHS. We know this is part of the overall effort by the Trump administration to reduce the federal head count. The criticism of this, which we're hearing unsolicited from local members of Congress, is that this doesn't seem to be judicious or strategic, but just a big chainsaw to federal health agencies, which would impact a lot more than just the local economy, but the health and well-being of the nation.
The Trump administration has been told to stop deporting migrants from Venezuela to El Salvador, but it seems there's some confusion about what's going on right now. What are you watching?
Yeah, the D.C. federal court has that case before the chief judge here in D.C., James Boasberg. Feels like that is boiling over again, and we'll get back to his courtroom in short order. The deportations happened despite the judge's orders to turn the plane around. Now, the Trump administration doesn't seem keen on doing any more of those Alien Enemies Act 1798 law deportations, but they still have to answer for why they didn't turn the planes around. as the judge ordered. A violated court order is a bigger issue, perhaps more significant to the democracy than just the deportation of 200 plus Venezuelan men.
The Attorney General has told federal prosecutors to go for the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, who is charged with the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Tell us what's going on here.
There's a local and a federal prosecution of Mangione. This would apply only to the federal prosecution. She'd want the Department of Justice to pursue that as part of the prosecution. Really early stages for that type of announcement. Haven't even brought the case to trial.
That was CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane. It's 9:17. A quick look at the top stories we're working on at WTOP. Countdown to what President Trump calls Liberation Day. The White House says new tariffs will take effect tomorrow. Polls have closed in special elections in Wisconsin and Florida. We have the early returns from these closely watched races. And the D.C. Council passes legislation to change the city's open meeting law, allowing elected leaders to conduct more business in private. Keep it here for full details on these stories in the minutes ahead. It's 9:18. We have traffic and weather on the 8s. Back to Bob in the traffic center.
Well, this tends to happen at least once a week or so. Crash southbound on 210 at Palmer Road, tying things up just a bit. Westbound 50 slow getting into the district again tonight with a work zone at the Anacostia River towards South Dakota Avenue down to a single lane getting by that work zone. On 95 and on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, each without delay. 50 cleared out of the Bay Bridge and all's quiet on 270. And around the Beltway, really nothing happening, which is good news. Clear all the way around. And 395 and 95 are in great shape, as is 66 in the district. Southeast Southwest Freeway and 295, each without delay. Bob Imler, WTOP Traffic.
And 7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson joining us live. Temperatures are dropping there.
They are. I was just looking. So we've got seasonal temperatures coming our way again. Pretty similar to yesterday. We'll be dropping all the way down to about 38 and 45 degrees by morning, and an afternoon temperature for Wednesday around 60. Difference is tomorrow we'll have just a few additional clouds over today. It's also going to be a little breezy again with wind out of the southeast. Our wind gusts could be about 25 miles per hour. And then yet more clouds on Thursday. Those clouds pushing out ahead of the next weather maker. It's a warm front. We'll get the warm air. We'll go from 60 degrees tomorrow to about 80 degrees on Thursday. And yes, with this next weather maker, a little bit of rain could pass as the warm front moves right over us. An isolated shower thunderstorm expected during the late evening Thursday. And then that rain could carry into early Friday morning for the Friday morning rush. Looking at a temperature of 70 degrees on Friday, we're right back down again. So the weather really keeping us on our toes for this time of year. 54 degrees right now in D.C., New Carrollton currently at 55, in Maryland, Dumfries, Virginia, now 53.
Thank you, Veronica. Brought to you by Len the Plumber Heating and Air. Trusted same-day service 7 days a week. It is 9:20 and coming up, the Trump administration is blaming an administrative error for deporting a Maryland man to El Salvador. More news in 60 seconds.
Here is Paul Kurtz, the Chief Cybersecurity Advisor and Field CTO at Splunk on Federal News Network's DoD Modernization Exchange.
We take a lot of things for granted when we think about what is the operational environment for the military and how do those devices hold up? How do we know that they're secure? How do we know that they're not leaking data? Those are really, really important points, and mobility is only going to grow.
Watch the full discussion now. Go to federalnewsnetwork.com and search Splunk.
In today's digital world, security threats and infrastructure issues can strike at any moment, putting your agency at risk. Splunk's advanced technology can prevent minor issues from becoming major threats, providing your agency with the tools you need to make confident decisions and make decisive actions at mission speeds. Splunk Cloud Platform is FedRAMP certified and IL5 authorized. Learn how Splunk can help your agency build a stronger, more secure digital future. Visit splunk.com/public sector.
Washington's top news, WTOP.
Facts matter.
9:21. An investigation is underway into the death of an inmate at the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center. Police say 32-year-old Sam Zuyang was found unresponsive in his cell by a sheriff's deputy yesterday evening. Police say he'd been held at the detention center since February 16th, facing gun, larceny, and property destruction charges, including one charge of brandishing a gun near a school. Police do not suspect foul play. Young is the 15th person to die in custody at the county jail since 2018. Maryland is facing a $3 billion budget shortfall, and state lawmakers are getting closer to finalizing a spending plan. Last week, the House approved a $67 billion budget for next year, and now the Baltimore Sun reports the Senate passed its budget proposal today. But Democrats warn they may need to make adjustments in the next few months because of federal funding cuts. Tomorrow, negotiators will start hammering out the final differences between the two budget bills. But the clock is ticking. Monday, April 7th is the last day of the Maryland legislative session. It is 9:22. The Trump administration says it mistakenly deported a Maryland man to El Salvador. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was among the more than 200 migrants deported to the country earlier this month under a rarely used 18th century wartime law. According to a lawsuit against the Trump administration, Garcia, a Salvadoran migrant, was granted federal protection from deportation in 2019. The Trump administration says his deportation was an administrative error. It is opposing, though, a request for him to be brought back to the U.S.
This case is shining new light on the cases of other men whose families say they were sent to Sikot in error.
Not every gang member has a criminal record.
Our colleague, Lilia Luciano, asked Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, about the vetting that took place before deportees were flown to El Salvador.
I've been assured numerous times that everybody in that plane from Venezuela was a TDA member. The rest of them were MS-13.
That was CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez. In a statement tonight, the Maryland congressional delegation is demanding that Garcia be brought back to America immediately, saying, quote, the administration has produced no viable evidence that he was a member of any gang and admitted his detention and removal were an error. Some wounded warriors in the area are getting ready for a special ride meant to help with mental health and resilience. They were fitted for specialized bikes today in Fairfax County. WTOP's Nick Iannelli was there.
For veteran Braxton Matheny, his specialized bike helps him with
knee pain, limited range of motion with my ankle.
He's with a group of injured vets riding custom-fitted bikes tailored to their specific needs. They'll be riding through Annapolis, Maryland and Lorton, Virginia this week in an event called Soldier Ride, a program led by the Wounded Warrior Project that helps injured service members stay active and connected.
It's a big mental boost, this opportunity. Really helps challenge myself.
For veteran Robin Young, it was emotional.
It means everything. Just to have some good days, it means a lot.
Nick Iannelli, WTOP News.
Changes are coming to D.C.'s open meetings law, and groups that follow city government say it will restrict the public's right to know. WTOP's Dan Ronan explains.
The 90-day emergency legislation easily passed. City Council President Phil Mendelson says there's been discussion among council members for some time about changing the law.
When I get challenged or the council gets challenged for allegedly violating the Open Meetings Act, we don't think we did, but we still have to deal with the challenge.
In a letter, the D.C. Open Government Coalition said this law poses a substantial threat to the government transparency and should not be enacted without more public input. A hearing on possibly making the emergency law permanent will be held April 22nd. Critics of the law say it's just another way to keep negotiations about a new Commander Stadium in D.C. a secret. Dan Ronan, WTOP News.
Sports at 25 and 55 brought to you by Amentum, advanced engineering and technology solutions for tomorrow.
How's the ovometer, Frank?
I like that. It's at 1 tonight. Alex Ovechkin has scored, but the Capitals, they were just tied up at 2-2, but they just scored again. Not Ovi, but the Caps did score as a team, 3-2 as the Caps lead at Boston. So Alex Ovechkin 4 goals away from all-time goals scoring record, 891 for his career. Again, Caps lead at Boston 3-2 midway through the third period. Nationals were down 3-0 at Toronto, but they've come back and tied it up 3-3 top of the 8th. C.J. Abrams with a big RBI double in the 7th to tie things up. Keibert Ruiz earlier with 2 RBIs with a single. Gannats and the Jays tied up 3-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Buzz Williams, new men's head basketball coach at the University of Maryland, comes over from Texas A&M, reportedly gets a 6-year deal. Williams has coached 18 years as a head coach in Division I. He's reached 11 NCAA tournaments. He was twice the SEC Coach of the Year when he was at Texas A&M. Frank Hanrahan, WTOP Sports.
Thanks, Frank. And are you cheering on Alexander Ovechkin in his quest to make hockey history? We want to hear from you as the Capitals captain moves closer to becoming the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. Send your words of encouragement and thanks through the WTOP app. Just use the feedback button in the navigation bar. It is 9:27.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Selling a home the stress-free way. This is Dave Johnson. That's the Jennifer Young way, and I know that. Jennifer Young of Jennifer Young Homes has now sold 2 of my homes. Hey, listen to the story from older clients of Jennifer Young Homes. They really needed to sell, wanted to downsize. You have less property to maintain and, move closer to family. But the process of decluttering and renovations and all the stuff that goes with selling a home became overwhelming. But Jennifer and her team able to alleviate all that stress by getting them an amazing offer even before the property went on the market. Yeah, property sold for $3,000 over the list price, all cash as is, a quick close, and then 30-day free rent back. Buyer even agreed to trash out anything the sellers didn't want to take with them. Hey, that, simply put, is stress-free. Speaking of stress-free, Jennifer guarantees to sell your home at price and deadline you agree to, or she'll buy it. She's that confident. Connect with Jennifer Young of Jennifer Young Homes at 877-611-SELL or online at jenniferyounghomes.com.
Keller Williams Realty, 703-815-5700.
It's 9:28. We have traffic and weather on the 8s. Bob Immler is in the WTOP Traffic Center.
It is pretty quiet around the region. No work zones are set up except for one so far, and that is the one on westbound Route 50 in Maryland. Getting over the Anacostia River towards South Dakota Avenue, single file past the work zone. There's a crash, though, in Prince George's County, southbound on 210 near Palmer Road. That's causing quite a delay there. 50 east out to the Bay Bridge is without delay. We're in great shape on 95 in the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. And 270 between the Beltway and Frederick, nothing happening. Pretty much the same story around the Beltway. And in Virginia on 395, 95, each running well. 66 in great shape in the district. 295 and Southeast Southwest Freeway also running without delay. We're brought to you by Window Nation. Need new windows? At Window Nation, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Pay nothing until 2027. Now through April 30th. Don't wait. Visit windownation.com today. Bob Inler, WTOP Traffic.
Here is 7 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson.
What a gorgeous evening after the rain and storms that we had yesterday this time. The next chance for any showers or storms is not going to be until Thursday evening, and those will be isolated in nature. So this evening, scattered clouds, our temperatures dropping down into the lower 50s, and then we're down to about 38 to 45 degrees for Wednesday morning, with high temperatures ranging between 58 and 65 degrees Wednesday afternoon. Look for partly sunny skies, a little bit of a breeze this time out of the southeast during the afternoon with wind gusts around 25 miles per hour. You're close to a 30-mile-per-hour gust on Thursday. That's the next weather maker moving in. The southerly winds will push us up to 80 degrees with, again, chance for an evening thunderstorm. 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
And let's take a look at current temperatures around the area right now. It is 45 degrees in Waldorf, 47 degrees in Tysons, 51 degrees outside the WTOP studios. And we're brought to you by Top Nova Orthodontics. Avoid tooth extractions or surgery for your orthodontic treatment. Visit Dr. Abbasi at Top Nova Orthodontics. It's 9:30.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
WTOP News. Facts matter.
Good evening. I'm Lynn Bowie, and Tariq King is our producer. A long-standing record has been set in the U.S. Senate tonight. New Jersey Democratic Senator Cory Booker has given the longest speech ever on the Senate floor. This feat of endurance was meant to show resistance to President Trump's sweeping actions. WTOP Capitol Hill correspondent Mitchell Miller has more details.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Senator Booker began his speaking marathon at 7 p.m. on Monday night. And while his voice at times thinned and he had to dab his forehead with a handkerchief, he has set a record that had stood for well over a half century. It dates all the way back to 1957 when South Carolina Senator Strom Thurmond spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act, at times saying he ate diced pumpernickel and bits of hamburger to keep going. Tonight, Booker is the record holder, though his speech was not a filibuster. For all the criticism of President Trump, he did not seek to block a specific bill, but it is a record for the upper chamber.
Breaking news on WTOP.
CBS News special report. CBS News projects Republicans Jimmy Patronis and Randy Fine will win special elections in 2 Florida congressional districts, filling the vacated seats of Matt Gaetz and Mike Waltz, respectively. Patronis thanks President Trump.
I'm looking forward to working with him to help rebuild our military, to close the border, to keep men out of women's sports, and to get our country back on track, to drop this record high inflation.
The votes are still being counted in the race to fill a seat on Wisconsin Supreme Court. Dane County Judge Susan Crawford is backed by the Democratic Party, and Republicans have endorsed Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel. University of Virginia political analyst Larry Sabato.
It only affects Wisconsin, except that this seat is the swing seat on the state Supreme Court. And if the Democrat wins, or the liberal, we should say, if the liberal wins, then liberals are going to win most of the political battles waged at the Supreme Court level.
CBS News.